So today we would be zeroing on a powerful but often underused lever in US college admissions, the global competitions. But even, and when I say underused, I'm not really pointing out to the amount of students who have done a competition or versus the ones who haven't done it. The real question that I'm really answering at here is how worthwhile was the competition that you went across with? Now, before we go in all those depths, a bigger question that stands across is why do they matter so much? Because, in a holistic review system, grades, test scores get you noticed, but the impact, the initiative, for the things that you get remembered, right? Competition gives you a stage to demonstrate that originality, leadership, and real world problem solving, all qualities that admission officers are want highlighted when you're describing your application. Those are the highlights to what even an admission officer would call to the dream candidates that he's looking for. So over the next hour we will unpack exactly how entering challenges, for example, like the Blue Ocean, the Diamond College Challenge, the Google Science Fair, can really turn your application from a strong resume into an unforgettable narrative. We'll look at timelines, winning strategies, and the best way to translate a trophy or simply experience into compelling an application material. And we will do this for a specific competition, and then we will give you the introduction of various others which are available in different kind of majors. And from that aspect onwards, if you want it for any specific competition itself, we would encourage you to get onto that one-on-one session with us where we could run you through those specific competitions. Plus, how would that competition go ahead and align with your overall application? So think of this session as your roadmap from, let's say, a classroom performer to a global contender. By the end, you'll know which competitions align with your interests, know how to position them on your activity list, and how to speak about them in essays and interviews. Let's really dive in and discover how these opportunities can help your unique storyline. And you remember the part when I said it's not really a question of how many students are typically doing this competition or not doing the competition. The real sense that is now coming across with all of these competitions is, as per this data, which largely says that 90% of all competitions, the students with competitions get rejected. Now, from this statement, it may just come across and say that if 90% of the students doing the competitions get rejected, is this even a fruitful adventure to get through? And now the whole idea is definitely yes, because of all of the students who did get accept, you would say a good 95% had submitted a proper competition. So yes, a lot of students do submit competitions, but they're not all relevant. They're not all the ones that would really take you through with this whole journey. Now, before we move in to the detailed aspects around all of these competitions, let me just quickly introduce you the organization that is behind of this whole thought process. The organization that is today going to be helping us conduct the event itself. So Let's Unbound began with a focus on skill building, empowering elementary and middle school students with STEM, life skills, and mentorship. As these students progressed to high school, they started seeking college admissions guidance, and that's where we listened. We evolved our services to seamlessly integrate the storytelling through applications into our already well-established mentoring programs. Now, by combining personalized learning, skill development, strategic admission support, we now guide students right from their early academic school years to global universities. Today, we have impacted more than 4,000 students across 25 countries, delivering 125,000 hours of expert mentoring. Our commitment to excellence has earned us a 4.9 over a 5 global rating. We are really proud to have partnered in the past with organizations as Harvard Students Agencies, Arizona State University Prep Digital, which really ensures that students receive a world-class educational experience through us. So at Let's Unbound, we don't just prepare students for mere exams or admissions. We largely try to prepare them for life overall. And the life, when I'm talking professional life, even after undergraduation, is a topic that we need to look at. Now, beyond that, giving you a quick understanding of the people who represent or who have founded the organization. So on your left, we have Amol Patil, who's a serial entrepreneur. He is an educational visionary with experience at Tata and Exceed, which is India's largest ed tech platform. Amol has helped scale impactful educational solutions across 2,000 schools in 6 countries, impacting well over 250,000 students. He's known for his ability to blend thinking with ground school realities and has been instrumental in helping startups from IIT Bombay and beyond succeed in this education space. On your right, we have Professor Nishant Chawla, a mentor and educator, and the brains behind many of the learning pathways we share today. With 14 plus years of experience across academia and industry, he has counseled over 1,000 students and has designed curriculum solutions from K-12 to executive MBA programs. He is an alumnus of SP Jain, a top-rated teacher, and a proud mentor of change under Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog. So these are the people who typically have helped us shape the kind of vision that we hold as an organization. Now, to quickly give you a quick introduction over myself. So I started the professional journey with Jaguar Land Rover with an automotive consultancy and then moved over to Citibank and Standard Charter within financial consultancy. And then for the last years, I've been now working within the education domain. I started across with Crimson Education and then with Added Education. Both of them are international players when it comes to preparing for students' routing to admissions abroad within USA, within UK, Singapore, Europe, Australia, and Canada. So those are all the various countries that I have, had an experience to work with different students. My own education is largely from India, where I've done my MBA from Symbiosis, SCMHRD Pune. Right, so that's more about myself. Now let's just quickly move in and have a quick view at what is the flow of our presentation today, right? So we will be starting across with the application platform, right? We still need to give you or set the narrative for you to understand what are the US admission officers looking for through the narrative, through the components, through the weightages that they put on each and everything. So then we can be in a position to understand where does competitions typically fit in to this whole bill, to this whole requirement of your application platforms for top universities in USA. Now, we'll also quickly have a quick view over the UC system. I'll give you short inputs about the MIT system. And obviously, the core of the application platform that we'll be using will be the Common App. Now, once we have done and had a look at why you should be participating at competitions, I have divided the ones that we'll be talking across today largely in 3 sections: entrepreneurship, finance, secondly, moving across to social impact, and lastly, we'll be looking at STEM-based competitions. Now, we can't cover all domains all under 1 hour or, try to cover all the competitions per se themselves. So we'll give you a complete list across all domains that are available. And I would encourage all of the students that are getting interested in such kind of activities and admissions abroad and would like to have a good view on, how does a competition within their stream fit across and you could be represented. I'd highly suggest you a one-on-one session with us where we could run you through according to your profile what would make much more sense. Now, we then move over to the approach section, where we would be giving you what is our approach overall in terms of what could be a student journey pathway while working across with us, a preparation timeline, and overall our store services along with success stories. As always, when we conclude a session of ours, we always do conclude it with giving an opportunity to understand the various resources that we share across. This itself being a platform of all of these resources, we just share you how you could continue to get access to all of these different platforms, including this one, to have a really good shot at admissions abroad and largely an equal playing field for all students to understand the nuances of admissions, be it in USA, be it in UK, be it Australia or Canada. So now, without further ado, we'll be moving into the first aspect of our presentation today, which is what are really US university admissions officers looking for. So one of those first things that an officer may speak to you about, sorry, a counselor may speak to you about the kind of profile that you want to create is always that misinterpreted, well-rounded profile. Well, in all realities, the US profile is much more of a well lopsided profile. And when we talk about a well lopsided, intuitively, the whole world, the whole phrase itself looks like an oxymoron, because the well is supposed to really point out that everything is on a perfect balance. But the balance that is needed to be created is of a lopsided profile. Now, by what lopsided, if you'll see on any line, it's basically trying to show a depth in a certain area. So when we say a well lopsided profile, what we're really pointing out to is this the concept of letter T, if you see on the screen. Now, the letter T, this is that lopsided part. This is the part where we talk about your specific interest, the area where you put majority focus, the place where you can show a lot of hours of interest and inputs that go across with it. Now, that can be connected to your major. That also cannot be connected to your major. There's no mandation of any aspect to be purely aligned to the major that you'll be actually looking for. So, well lopsided, the first row, the area where you're strong at, and then have a lot of participation activities. Every activity does not have to be world class. Every activity does not have to speak about exemplary winning. The overall objective of USA asking for these activities is not just to create a list of winnings, but it's really to create a whole identity of a personality around an application which is being described by all of these different activities that a student has done. So that is what I would, give you the notion in terms of a US admission. Do always remember the reason why it has got this narrative is US does not mandate any student to declare a major. So what you would see in a UK, what you may see in a Canada or a Singapore, or definitely in India, if you're applying STEM, you need to have STEM majors, right? You need to have STEM activities. In this case scenario, in terms of USA, that is not the case. What you need to show is a strong personality. You need to show how, you can come across and follow the organization's ethos as they have been. So I think before now we move on looking into the different parts of the admission itself, I just want to launch a couple of polls in which I could better understand, what are the kind of inclinations that you do have currently. So if you could just answer the first question, which is the major interests, what major interests you the most? So you could, let me know on medicine, engineering, pure sciences, economics with mathematics, where it is your strength area, where you still want to do an economics, finance kind of a degree, but that is maths is not your strength area. So I've, given you a separate indicator on that. Humanities would include all of your subjects, within history, geography, English. So all of those subjects go there, and anyone who's looking for a law or a business administration degree could also put in their information. So largely what I do see with the answers coming through within the first one, that there's a heavy focus on students who would be looking across at engineering. So I think very safe to say that the larger population that we have today is within STEM. So I would be focusing more on the STEM competitions, right? I will give you three different competitions within STEM itself, since we have a good population there. In terms of medicine, I do have a competition that makes extremely more sense once we're at that second stage of those courses. So I do also have something in for medicine. Definitely for students who are looking at business degrees, even the entrepreneur one would make a lot more sense. But otherwise, we could always get into one-on-one sessions with you guys to understand what kind of, degree are you specifically looking at and which would make a majority sense. I'm now just doing one quick more launch, which is just to know which grade you guys are in. So is it grade 10, 11th, 12th? So that would give us a good understanding. Right. Perfect. Perfect. So yeah, we've got a good spread right across all of the grades. With the bulk of the students in being grade 10, 11, we do also have a good amount of kids who have joined us from the grade 9 stage as well. So perfect. Yeah. So I've got a good understanding of the people who have joined us across, and I would be using, a longer time scale while explaining you how to pull on these activities. And obviously, for all of those students who are also in grade 12 as of now, what you could be doing at the current stage of these applications if you're looking for a typical gap year or not. Just moving across the admission process itself. So before we rush into the whole aspect of competition, let's really zoom out and answer a critical question: where do these accomplishments actually fit in? Now, so your US admissions, as I've said, holistic, it's not formulative. So your activities and honors make a huge aspect. Once we move forward, there is an activity list that you need to look across at. So that is another reason where you should be thinking. And it gives evidence to the reader that they can actually trust as well. Where it's not just now saying that I've got interest in this area, but I've also gone ahead and done a certain competition, and also helps you very well within that bridge of your narratives. Now, before further ado, let's just now look into those various components of the common application. So the common application, again, is just one of those platforms that you use to apply to US colleges, and it is one of the most popular ones. It allows you to apply up till 20 colleges. However, not all top universities are using the common application. So, for example, UCs have their own system, which is the UC system. The Apply Texas is what you apply for your universities of Texas, the UTs. And then MIT and Georgetown do also have their own unique systems and platforms. Along with that, you'd see also different colleges having their own platforms themselves. But the core components, as I'll now show you across how they're running across with Common App, I'll just keep on filling in what happens in terms of a UCMIT. The components are the same. They just get shuffled from here or there, or the depth or the amount of numbers that you need may have to put in certain amount of entries may differ. So firstly, starting with the academics, now your SAT and ACT is definitely required if you're applying for common application, majority of the colleges within MITs, within UTs. But if you're applying for UCs, UCs are test blind. So your UC system does not ask you for a SAT score, but then the focus on grade 12 scores and your grades from 9th till 11th within the UC system even becomes more important. And again, within common application, it is an important section within academics. Now, moving across to your activities list, I have put the 10 activities on the screen itself, which you can see currently. That is largely, again, just for common application. If you would be going through the UC system, you will have to talk about 20 activities, which are divided into 4 categories of volunteering, work experience, academic programs, and your extracurriculars. MIT for the second section would be asking you for your top 4 activities, but each activity would be given quite amount of depth. Now, for example, Common App, you've got 150 characters for an activity. In MIT, you would have 200 words per activity, right? UT Austin is a little bit different than the other 3 that I've just spoken on. That will just allow you to upload your resume, and that gives you a really good amount of flexibility to explain your overall activities. Now, this is that prime section where first your competition would, would be coming across at, where you'd be listing that, I was part of the Blue Diamond competition. I'm not really going into depth with the other one because we had a very specific session on it. Olympiads, writing that down, writing about those various other competitions that we'll be talking across. This is the section that you talk about. Then you move over to your personal statement, which is the first of your written documents, beyond the activities that you put onto the form. Now, this is where you bring life to those activities. So it's not just a summary of what you have achieved or what you have won, but how have those activities, a few specific of them, have gone on to, shape you as the person that you are today. The Common App will ask you to write 650 word essay. It's also called the Common App essay, and at times referred as the personal statement. In terms of UCs, this takes a little bit of a change. It'll be called PIQs. So there are 4 questions with 350 words each, and you'd be answering them to give that same kind of a document that look very similar to the personal statement of your Common App. While MIT would require you a series of short answer essays that are focused on specific aspects of your identity and experiences. UT Austin would ask you to again write short essays, which often focuses on identity or environment. So no matter the platform you're going to be selecting, your personal statement is going to be a very, very crucial aspect to this whole application journey. Now, let's move on to the other part, which is the college essays. So before I start off, there's no college specific essays for UCs. This is more of a concept, or even let's say for MIT, there would be specific problems that MIT may ask you what really interests you about their community, what really excites you about MIT, that would be there that you need to answer. And again, UT Austin does not have very specific questions on the college that you're applying for. The essays that you largely see will be on the Common Application platform for the specific reason that it's going to be one application that goes to 20 different colleges. So those colleges, one or two documents that you specifically narrate to them that is directly connected. Why do you want to apply to that institute? So, for example, Harvard, Stanford, Cornell, all of these different universities would be going through the common application system. They would give you a couple of essays to write that really checks the competency specifically for that university that you're applying for. So, if you see from that common application perspective, how your activities and the personal statement align to the university that you're applying to via the common application system is what you'd be describing in that supplementary essay. Now, moving on to the next point, the fourth point, the letters of recommendation. So this is one of the part of the application, I'll say the only part of the application that the student does not write himself. So a strong LOR should be something which is very specific, very personal, and it should be put out in a way that the admission officer, without even reading the name of the student on that LOR, should be able to identify it. In terms of MIT, you need one maths, one humanities. Austin would only ask you for a single recommendation. Interestingly, UC do not require or accept letters of recommendation. So everything on a UC level is down to your own voice. So this is how overall your US applications typically run across. So I've given you the narrative. They're totally focused on your profile, on your personality. They're interested on academic activities, non-academic activities. So thus, academic competitions are as equal as to non-academic competitions. The important dates you could just see at the bottom. So your applications every year start by 1st November in terms of early decision and early application, where a larger amount of deadlines would be in the month of January. Common App deadline is 1st of January. You expect your results from January to April itself. Now, to give you a quick view of where those weightages go across, in terms of your academics, grade 12 score, SAT, ACT, transcripts from 9th till 11th, your English proficiency test, that's all 40%. The 10 activity list or the 20 activity list that you submit, where the chapter of today's conversation, the personal statement, the competition is extremely a good part of, is 30%. And again, your 30%, 30% is your leadership, and then last 30% is your common application, which also has your personal statement and essays, LORs, and interview. So the competition itself does feature both in the extracurricular activities and the application section. So that's how it really becomes very important for your overall application. This is where I wanted to plug in the application aspect before we start moving in and looking at specific competitions, where we will be focusing today on the Blue Ocean competition once we gotten started with it. Otherwise, I'll be also giving you a quick view over the diamond competition as well, which is very closely related to the Blue Ocean competition itself, which is around business and entrepreneurship. We will then move into competitions that are best described from the perspective of social impact. Now, here the person who's looking for the degree in medicine would be very interested in the Dyna Award that we'll be also discussing across today. Post that, the STEM students, the majority kids that have joined us across today, I would give you an understanding what is the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow, that one competition. We will then move into your Google Science Fair and conclude by your ISEF. That is another very smart program for students within the STEM background. Now, quickly just moving across to business and entrepreneurship. What are those various competitions there? But before we do so, just a quick conversations. Why do competitions supercharge your application? So let's really pause and answer this big why before we dive deeper. So tangible achievement being point number one. So admission officers read thousands of essays that say, passionate about science, or I'm passionate about humanities, I'm passionate about law. A finalist certificate or a medal will then turn into that claim into a verified fact. It's a third party proof that you have walked the talk. So that's that one tangible achievement that I would really push as really important behind these competitions. Then you have got depth of passion. Most contests run for months. they run for long durations. That's when you need to show a sustained, contribution, sustained uh, focus on that competition. That is also a very strong point about all of these various activities. So sticking with a project from brainstorm to prototype streams really your right kind of perseverance. It shows you can manage deadlines, exactly what university office admission officers want in their first year students. Apart from that, community impact. So awards like the Diana Honor Services, Samsung Solve evaluates social benefits as well. That tells committees you're not just brilliant, but you're also very relevant. Your work improves lives just beyond the classroom, beyond the specific area in which you're going to be focusing on. And then moving across to your applied skills, research fair focuses you to analyze data, challenge business concepts, and really may help you make a financial model. An engineering contest would demand that working prototype. Those experiences map directly into college labs, incubators, and capstone projects that you'd be eventually making once you're in university itself. And at the same time, it gives you a good opportunity towards networking and mentors. Every competition brings judges, alumni, peer innovators into your circle. Those relationships often turn recommendation letters, internships, or and even from co-founders. Those are the kind of activities that really help you in terms of networking and mentorship. Now, put these five together, and you have created that halo effect around your entire application. Academic says you can learn. Competition says you can apply and impact that you could also show, for example, through that community impact that you care. So as we review these specific competitions today, keep asking yourself which one amplifies my story in all of these five dimensions. That's the contest that will supercharge your own specific application. Now, as I said, we will be starting across with uh, admission with your entrepreneurship competition. So just quickly give you an understanding which are these two, and I'm doing them together because they're very similar to one another. So let's take a deeper dive. Firstly, at the Blue Ocean competition, it helps you create new markets, challenging yourself to think beyond the conventional and find unique solutions to real world problems. It's totally based on that Blue Ocean strategy that I'm sure a lot of parents who are joining us today are within that business realm would understand what I'm talking about. It will help you develop business models that not only solve problems, but can actually become viable ventures because you would be thinking in areas where there is no current, activity, there is no current product or business. Now, it all will also help you gain global recognition, which gives your profile a significant edge, especially when applying to top universities. It will also help you to strengthen your college application, as I was typically talking in terms of your global recognition. It demonstrates to the admission officers that you are that proactive, innovative, and capable of taking initiative kind of application. That will also help you receive expert feedback, allowing you to refine your ideas and learn from those who have real world experiences in business and strategy. And lastly, you would actually learn the blue ocean strategy itself. The first thing that I was talking about while I was giving the new market, creating the new power market aspect. So that's a powerful framework that's valued in business world today and can really help you set apart. Now, on the other side, you've got the diamond challenge as well. It encourages a focus on social entrepreneurship specifically, teaching you how to use a business as a force for good. It helps you to develop leadership skills, which are very essential for personal and professional growth. You'll get a chance to learn from mentors, gaining insight from those who have succeeded in their fields. Now, by participating, you can enhance your college applications again by adding depth to your extracurricular profile and demonstrating leadership, initiative, and commitment. You'll also have the chance to get an invaluable networking opportunity in this section as well. Again, connecting with peers, mentors, and industry experts. Lastly, you'll also, earn that recognition through your efforts, which can open door for future opportunities. Both competitions are, really offer you unparalleled growth and development, providing a unique opportunity to build essential skills that will set you apart in the competitive college admissions process. Now, quickly just to look across what is the blue ocean competition. The Blue Ocean competition truly is a global pitch competition on one side, open to high school students from around the world, providing a unique opportunity to showcase your own innovative ideas on an international stage. At its heart, the competition is innovation to at its core. It challenges participants to create unique business ideas and stand apart from the crowd that you'd be applying with. So, using your blue ocean strategy, the competition encourages you to focus on creative new market spaces where there is little or absolutely no competition at all. This is the ideal environment for developing solutions that can really disrupt the traditional markets and challenge the existing models before. So that's where this overall competition in its core typically rise. The competition also encourages you to really address that fifth point that I've said, the unmet needs, focusing on problems that have been overlooked or left unsolved. Your solution should not only be, let's say, innovative, but also differentiate themselves from the conventional approaches, helping you to set your idea completely apart. Furthermore, the competition is not just about ideation, it is actually about the market creation. Building demand where it didn't really exist before. It promotes the right kind of creativity, it encourages the right kind of creativity, urging you to think outside the box, pushing the boundaries in your approach itself. Now, by participating, you will get, valuable entrepreneurship learning experiences where you'll be developing real world skills in business and strategy and innovation. And finally, you'll get a chance to pitch your ideas to gain that global exposure and, to conclude over all the 10 points that what is the blue competition about that you could see on your screen. So that global exposure would really connect you with the network of mentors, experts, and like-minded peers while earning international recognition. So my again, that whole objective of this slide was to describe you all of those 10 points of how everything basically connects back into that blue ocean competition. Now, moving across, what are the key aspects of the blue ocean competition? So we'll now go through the key aspects, which is around innovation, blue ocean strategy, pitching, and tools. So starting off with innovation, at the heart of the competition, it is innovation. Your goal is to propose a unique business idea that solves a real world problem, something that hasn't been addressed already in the market. You'll be expected to think creatively and outside the box to come up with fresh solutions. Now, the blue ocean strategy, this brings us to the point, the real heart of the competition itself, the blue ocean strategy. So rather than competing in existing and structured markets, the competition encourages you to create a new market space altogether, or how it is normally set within the strategy, the blue oceans, where there is little or no competition at all. This is a key strategy that will set your business idea apart from others. Third comes across in pitching. Once you have developed your idea, you need to pitch it. This is a critical step. You'll need to submit 3 to 5 minute video pitch that clearly explains the problem, the solution you're offering, and why your idea stands out from others. Your pitch should be compelling and communicate the potential impact of your idea. Now, lastly, the tools is to help you shape your strategy. You'll have to access the most basic of those tools, the blue ocean tools. For example, the ERC grid, the strategy canvas. These tools will guide you to, refining the strategy and ensuring your business idea is well thought out and strategically positioned to succeed in that untapped market. Right. Now, quickly just moving across from, let's say, the blue ocean competition to what does the diamond challenge bring across in its own difference. So we saw those 5 different points of the blue ocean competition itself. Now I just want to look into the diamond challenge. So the diamond challenge is a global youth entrepreneurship competition that provides high school students with platform to develop their entrepreneurship skills. It is really designed to foster creativity, innovation. It encourages students to come up with business ideas that go beyond the real world problems. The competition focuses really heavily on creating, I'd say, positive social impact, allowing students to combine business acumen and passion for social change. The core of this challenge is about, youth-led solutions. It gives students an opportunity to take charge of their own ideas, create actionable plans, and present solutions that can really make a difference in their communities and overall across the globe. Whether it's solving a local issue or addressing a global challenge, this competition empowers students to make an impact. So, social responsibility plays a very important key role when you're talking about the Diamond Challenge. And I've just come down to point number five. The competition encourages participants to think about how their business ideas can benefit the society, right? It's about creating sustainable businesses that not only generate revenue, but also have a very positive effect on the world. This is especially important as the world increasingly values business that operates with purpose beyond just profit. So, a standout feature of the Diamond Challenge is the opportunity to also connect with the industry leaders themselves. As a participant, you would be paired with mentors who are experts in their field, giving you direct guidance and help you really shape and work with your skills and provide you really strong, insightful feedbacks that could advises that are invaluable in shaping a successful business plan. So, along with mentorship, the Diamond Challenge offers significant networking opportunities as well. You will have the chance to interact, as I was saying, with entrepreneurs, with innovators, and other students right across the world. This global exposure is very crucial for positioning yourself as a future leader in the field that you're going for, as it really provides connections that could be pivotal in your future career or academic pursuits. Now, quickly, just to give you that understanding, if you're doing any of those challenges, it also doesn't mean that you're not that you cannot be a computer science student or an engineering student doing either of these two activities. Because do remember, at core of both of these activities, the strength is trying to give a new solution where none has existed. So all of those students that are extremely good with sciences and engineering and have that ability or that uncanny ability to think across in terms of resources to change or think use logics to change the way we have been looking at a certain problem. All of those applicants, even within STEM, can look at a Diamond Challenge, can look at your initial one as the Blue Ocean Strategy, where you may come across and say that this is a program or a software that I have created, and there is just no comparison right across the world onto it. So it is, again, as I've said, that I may have introduced the competition from a perspective of these two streams, but it doesn't mean that they're only restricted to these two streams themselves. So you could be also looking across at different streams, but still going for the Diamond Challenge itself. And again, just to quickly run you through the key aspects of the Diamond Challenge, it has social impact. The competition would challenge you to think about how your business can solve pressing business problems in the society. You're encouraged to focus on creating positive societal change through your idea, through engineering, through sciences as well, being represented as a business. Helps you in entrepreneurship, would help you in mentorship as well, getting access to experienced entrepreneurs, to seniors, to pivotal people who could really help you make that right amount of changes to your ideas so you could excel better within your college education. And finally, it gives you a very good understanding of pitching. Pitching your idea is an essential skill you'll develop in the Diamond Challenge. You'll present your business ideas to a panel of judges who will evaluate it based on its creativity, feasibility, and impact. So while going through the Diamond Challenge, you're very sure of taking benefits in all of these areas. Now we'll move across to your social impact, right? So this is going to go across a little bit quickly. We will be looking into your Dyna Award. So let's unpack that for you so you could clearly see what this is all about. The UK charity honoring youth from 9 to 25. The Dyna Award is a London-based foundation created in Princess Diana's memory. Importantly, it's global. So any young person aged 9 to 25 can be nominated no matter where you live. The requirements is that you need to have 12 months plus of sustained impact. This isn't, let's say, a one-day social service project. Judges look for a full year or more of continuous work with a very measurable result. Think an after-school literacy program, that is still running, or an environmental campaign that keeps collecting data month after month, and bare minimum which should go for 12 months. The third point, evidence dossier plus two referees. There isn't really a pitch deck. Unlike business contests, there is no slide presentation. Instead, you submit a portfolio, photos, news clippings, social media articles, various other social media metrics, budget sheets, whatever proves your impact, along with two reference letters on official letterheads validating the story. Then winners join a mentorship and a peer network. So if you're selected, you don't just receive the certificate, and it doesn't just end there. It actually starts here. You enter a global community of past awardees, mentors, and industry partners. So if you're a student in grade 9th, 10th, you have done, let's say, one complete year of sustained impact, you showcase, you win, and then you'll have another couple of years to access that network, which would help you to, take this project a bit more further in the couple of years remaining. It could also help you to go towards leadership, get speaking invitations to, further represent the activity that you've been involved in, and even funding for the next phase of your own project. So, doing this kind of a project early, you're a medical student, makes a lot more sense, right? Within medicine, you want to showcase how you may have bought in a really impactful project around the area of medicine in the society that you've been living in. And by winning this, you'd also be getting new access to funds, new innovative ideas that could help you, really shape it perfectly before the time you get to apply. Finally, the applications are between March to April, May, with the results in June. So applications portals normally typically open each spring, and they close by mid-May, with recipients announced normally in July. That is perfect time to list your common application activities. Even now, if let's suppose you're a student who has just started with grade 11, we can, definitely use this in its application aspect in that way. So that key takeaways, because the award is externally validated, sustained, and impact oriented, it adds serious weight to the list of activities and honors section, let's say within US college application. If you're applying for medicine, you could really speak about all of these activities within the personal statement. Now, talk about how to build an application dossier that pops off the page. Now, first, admission officers, the Diana judges love concrete numbers. So ask yourself, how many people did we help? How much did we raise? Did we change a social policy or a school policy or a local law? List those figures right up front. They're your headlines to prove your impact. Second, what is now your story arc? The need. What specific gap or pain point did you notice? Secondly, action. What exactly did you do? Kick off, let's suppose, a workshop. Did you start some prototype in the area that you were working at? Did you do a petition? Whatever the core activity was comes across in this action. The third thing that you see then within the arc is the ripple. What happened next? Did attendance soar? Plastic waste, for example, drop? Did mental health referrals rise? What was the ripple effect of the project that you have done that will go ahead to show that sustainability? Thirdly, evidence is gold. Photos of events, screenshots of press coverages, social media analytics, any thank you note as well. Include them all. Visual proof turns the written claim into an undeniable fact. So that's a very important part in terms of, really collecting all of the work that you have done through photographs, through activities is going to be core in this whole aspect of, crafting that right kind of dossier. Fourth, the referees secure two letters of, official on official letterheads. Ideal references are school principals, NGO directors, or community leaders who can really vouch that you have led the project, and those impacts that you're talking about, those and specific those impact numbers that you're talking about are extremely real. Now, finally, process makes perfect. While the Quest program, we give students weekly impact log template, a simple spreadsheet where you could jot down the hours worked on it, the task completed, the outcomes achieved, that would help you, that would keep the current log, and assembling the dossier next spring becomes a more of a copy paste exercise if you consistently have been recording all of those activities in the right way. Put these five ingredients together and you'll have the and you'll hand the diner panel and later the college admission reader a dossier that says, I didn't just volunteer, I built a lasting change, and I can actually go on to prove it. So that's more about the Diner Award per se itself. Now, quickly just moving across to STEM. This is that one part where a lot of our students would be largely interested in. So, what can we be doing across while showing your strength in the various science, technology, engineering, mathematic kind of divisions where you want to go ahead and excel at? So, one of those core competitions that I could talk about, and I'll start off with Samsung Solve for Tomorrow. It's a good connect from the last social impact project that we have just talked about, but now more in focus in terms of STEM. So imagine Shark Tank meets a social good backed by one of the world's largest tech company. That's exactly what you call Samsung Solve for Tomorrow, or it's normally also just called as SST, the National Tech for Impact idea. So ages again 16 to 22. It opens to senior high schoolers, gap year students, and even to first year undergrads. Perfect if you're still under 22 at the finals. Now, the four focus themes that go across with it: education, environment, health, and inclusion. Choose one and frame your problem statement around the community pain points that you can really measure. The third thing is the three-phase journey, which starts with idea, boot camp, and then prototype. First, you submit a concise concept. If selected, you enter a week-long design boot camp, and then finally, you demo a workshop prototype to the judges and media. What's really at stake? It's up to 1 crore in grants plus hands-on mentoring from Samsung research and development engineers, meaning you get both the funding A and expert guidance to keep the project alive even after the contest. So this, as I was saying right at the start, this is a competition which is totally science-based, STEM-based, but you're trying to create a socially impact project that really helps the environment around education, around environment, around health and inclusion. The important timelines that you need to look at: applications every year open in April. The top 50 boot camps are in July, and then the national finals happen in September, early enough for you to appear, for it to appear on your common application list. So again, students who have just started across with grade 11, the large population that had joined us today, or even students who are in grade 10, you can start preparing for this and be rest assured that the whole competition would be concluded way before you would be writing down your application itself. So if you're really keen to merge coding, hardware, and social impact together, and you love the idea of corporate mentorship, SST is that right kind of calling for you. Now, what is that prototype pitch that you could be, getting across with this? So let's talk about strategy for getting, from getting from a clever idea to a winner's podium. Now, the seven slide lean canvas, Samsung gives you mentors only a few minutes to review proposals. So compress your story, the problem, the solution, the key metrics, the unique value channels, revenue and cost, and very importantly, the social impact, all in one slide, six words per bullet. Now, the other point, quick IoT mockups and using open source kits. So let's suppose judges care that something that blinks, moves, or senses, even if it really held together with a tape of let's say, of tape and optimism, it works. So it's not all about going and building the best kind of prototype out there and how sustainable it is, but how much does it really, really function at that stage is going to be the most important aspect. The third part, the user testing video, that's really the bonus point. So film a 60-second clip of the real user interacting with your prototype, seeing and, let's suppose seeing a worker or a classmate actually press the button sells impact of that better, the diagram that you'd have created around it. Now, file a provisional patent as well. Samsung will reimburse fees for the shortlisted teams. The patent isn't about owning IP forever. It signals seriousness and protects your ideas during the later stages of funding. Lastly, the timeline. So we would schedule is the tech sprint between May to July, where you'll be working on your hardware and software testing. So you would hit your boot camp in August with the functioning demo, not just a slideshow. So that's one of those most important things. So follow this playbook, and you'll not only, let's say, impress the Samsung judges, but you'll have a really good chance at coming out with something really impactful. Now, the other competition that we'll be largely looking across at is the Google Science Fair. So, arguably the most democratic science competition on the planet because it's 100% online and it's completely free. So global online research is again aged between 13 to 18. There's no travel budget, no expensive lab needed. If you have an internet connection, curiosity, you can enter. Whether you're in Bombay, you're in Manila, you're in Memphis, you're in Africa, Europe, we all can participate on that. Deliverables, a digital project board plus a 2-minute video. The board is a drag and drop template where you upload photos, graphs, captions. The video is your elevator pitch, who you are, what you have asked for, and what you have found. Now, the judging pillars would be the question, method, finding impact, and your comms. So the question is, why is the problem meaningful? The method, are your procedures really sound? What are you finding in terms, are the results clear and repeatable? The impact, can we calculate that, the kind of people that has effect in a proper scalable way? Comms, did you explain it in a very non-scientist way so all could follow? Something very typically what Einstein used to say, that if you cannot explain a concept to a 4-year-old, you haven't understood it yourself. So that's that a very important part in can you really explain your overall project in a non-technical way? Now, beyond that, you'd have 20 globalists that would fly to the Google headquarters. So imagine, being at Google headquarters and trying to show across the car that you have created. And obviously, while you're there, you'd be getting the exact kind of mentorship, which is also the last point where you'd have $50,000 grand prize and a year-long mentorship. So even if you don't win, just being a finalist in a resume is a rocket booster. Admission readers instantly recognize the Google brand and the competition selectiveness for you to have reached in that area. So if you love inquiring, storytelling, and the idea of turning your bedroom into a micro lab, the Google Science Fair is typically your stage. Now, just moving across to what is the research to real workflow. Now, one sentence hypothesis. If we expose, for example, basil plants to low-fi music for 2 weeks, they'll grow faster than control. That is the kind of hypothesis that you're looking. One straightforward null hypothesis. Then run at least 3 trials and show error bars. Google judges are scientists. Replication does matter for them. 3 data sets let you calculate averages, variances, and that will help you build credibility behind your research. The open source your idea or code. Upload spreadsheets to GitHub or share it on public Google Sheets. Transparency earns bonus points and signals researchers' integrity. The video itself, the video storyboard, 20-second problem and 60-second experiment, and then moving to 40 seconds of impact. Open with human why, right? Walk through your method with quick cuts, then finish with the results and the next steps. Subtitles would also are very important things that really help, let's say, the non-English people to understand the competition that you'll be that you're trying to give as a solution, as there will be various judges across different domains. Then finally, the timeline. June is the literature review and hypothesis lock-in. From July to October, you'd have your experiments, data collection, and revisions. And finally, in November, you edit the video, polish the digital board, and you send it across for peer review. So this is, again, a quick understanding of what the Google pathway typically represents. Now, I'll just be moving across and giving you a quick view of those various different other competitions that you could participate and partake in. For the ones that I've already explained you, we would rather encourage you to do a one-on-one session with us so we could take it into a fair amount of depth. Right. These are the few that you could see if you're interested in the area of medicine, about law, pre-law, political science, biomedical engineering. You could take a screenshot and save these kind of score of competitions. Now, just quickly moving on to the next part of these competitions around psychology, math, statistics, philosophy. So you could also look at all of these various competitions. Now, moving across to our approach and how do we really take care and help students in this whole journey. So we do have this Quest program that we have curated. This program is really designed to provide intensive global competition preparation for ambitious students who really want to excel in the most highly competitive challenges like the ones that I've just spoken about, be it within STEM, be it within social impact, be it within entrepreneurship. We would help you get through with all of those competitions. You will develop innovative business ideas that tackle the real world problems as well, whether they are local or global. We give you the expert mentorship that will guide you through the entire process from ideation to business model development, ensuring your ideas are feasible and really impactful. Right? We give you complete support, every holistic preparation from this, right from concept to the actual pitch delivery, ensuring that you're ready at every stage of the competition itself. The goal is to ensure that you stand out in top competitions, helping you gain recognition and success you deserve. Now, moving in, the other activities that we do help you across is within the ideation and market gap analysis. We'll give you complete support in competition differentiation and strategic development within business model and pitch creation. We'd help you in the practice and feedback sessions and also within the final rehearsal and confidence building. Now, overall, if I'd have to speak to you in terms of admissions, what is the journey that we do? We normally do get students who would, I would say that 93% of the students and the parents would be only talking about 7 careers. They really don't know the various kind of streams that have now come across and how complex that these admissions have become. What we do for the kids is we, onboard them, understand all of their challenges in terms of your personality traits through a psychometric test, through various sessions of understanding the interest areas. We provide you college counseling. We'd help you build your profile, your application, and give you the last point of visa and stay assist guidance as well, where then the final output becomes getting admitted into that university of your choice. These are all of our service, typically listed across, right from your academic test prep to profile and leadership, and then eventually your admission prep itself. So we do help students within SAT and PSAT, within AP, advanced placements, leadership. So all of those various assistances are typically provided across. And now, lastly, within the preparation timeline. So this is just to give you a rough view of how we work with students right from grade 9 till grade 12, where within grade 9 and 10, we help students in their candidacy building, helping them explore their strengths, explore their ideas, help them join competition courses, the ones that we are just talking about, and consistently work with them on their personal statements and the LOR work. And eventually in grade 11th and 12th, help you selection with the subjects, help you with your capstone projects, the standardized testing. And then eventually in your application year, we initiate your essays, we help you close the activities, which will finally move on to application submission and conclusion on the visa application level. With this activities over the past, we have created all of these success stories where I've also worked with the SETS kid on the screen that, got a 1550 on his SAT and had really excelled within the maths area. He had done very well as the essay competition at Oxford. At the same time, within his non-academics, he was a national level basketball player. He founded an NGO. He was a talented solo singer and performer at charity events. So all of this together had really found him his place at Dartmouth. Another quick example of an application getting through with Rice University, a student who rose through the ranks from a school prefect to a house captain, eventually becoming a head girl. She was the chairperson of a model United Nation. She eventually applied to Rice University and got through, and she also pursued a scholarship within Women in Leadership category. Now, the resources that we always talk about and leave towards the end of our session. So every weekend we conduct a new master class on a new topic. So today's topic was around competitions. In another couple of days, if you follow us across on Instagram, you would be introduced to the next topic that we'll be handling in the next coming week. And beyond that, these are the various newsletters that we do also publish on almost every weekly basis. You could use the QR code at the bottom of your screen to get access to it. At the same time, what I'm also doing is I'm just dropping you the link of the QR, the place where this QR code will take you. So you could just largely use it from there itself. Just give me a second. I've just dropped it onto the chat section, so you could use that across. Now, at the same time, you could also use these QR codes at the bottom of your screen to join the WhatsApp community or the podcast community. Again, the objective is again the same, to give you as much as information possible on this admissions abroad. At the same time, you could also take advantage of our SAT diagnostic test by using the QR code, and you'll be taken to a page. You'll put in your initial information, and you could conduct the SAT diagnostic, in which we would give you a good understanding of how to get closer to that 1600 mark. Lastly, if you're really interested in the the complete kind of information that you've given you, you want to understand more in detail about these competitions, so you could scan the QR code now on your screen and understand what kind of competitions that your kid should be partaking in, what kind of college application you should be looking across at. So this is what I had planned for my session today. Now, we would be just opening up the Q&A section. So there is one for tech related. So the ones that I had spoken towards the end, Dishita, in terms of STEM would be extremely viable for you while you'd be taking your admissions forward. Now, beyond this one question, are there any other questions that I could look across at? I'll be just using the chat section to find any questions that you would want me to handle. If there are no other questions, so we can conclude across for today. Right. So thank you. So there are no further questions. We'll just conclude the session off for now. And thank you for joining us for today's session, and hope to see a lot of you in the coming ones next week. Thank you.